The earth spins on an axis in the darkness of space and in the light of the sun. Job chapter 38 verses 12 to 15. Have you commanded the morning since your days began, and caused the dawn to know its place, that it may take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it? It takes on form like clay under a seal, and stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. As the Mesopotamian cylindrical seal shown to the right above is pushed into clay, a boundary line is formed coinciding with the depth of the cylinder in the clay. When the seal is rolled on the clay enters the depressions on the cylinder or is depressed by the raised detail. Similarly, the sunlight, like the clay, illuminates the Earth's landscape from the east to the west, including valleys and mountain tops, as each surface rotates into the direct sunlight. God selected the example of the rotating seal against clay to best describe how the dawn takes hold of the ends of the earth, a phrase to describe the dawn from a human perspective of the dividing line between light and dark. This confirms that the earth spins on an axis to produce the day and night cycles. A spiritual reference is included where the wicked who are of the darkness and do their deeds in the night, including an upraised arm that smites the innocent, are shaken because of the daytime light is coming to expose or judge their deeds. And the wicked being of the darkness cannot comprehend the light, which metaphorically is the wisdom of God. Stars are very far away and differ in glory, and are more numerous than the sand grains of the ocean, and cannot be counted. God names them all. They are not to be worshipped. They are a heritage from God, visible for all under heaven. Job chapter 22 verse 12. Is not God in the height of heaven, and see the highest stars, how lofty they are? 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 41. There is one glory of the sun, another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for one star differs from another star in glory. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 12. As the stars of the sky in multitude, innumerable as the sand which is by the seashore. Genesis chapter 15 verse 5. Then he brought him outside and said, Look now toward heaven, and count the stars, if you are able to number them. Jeremiah chapter 33 verse 22. As the host of heaven cannot be numbered, nor the sand of the sea measured. Psalm chapter 147 verse 4. He, God, counts the number of the stars. He calls them all by name. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 19. And take heed lest you lift your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the host of heaven, you feel driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord your God has given to all the peoples under the whole heaven as a heritage. Until the technological development of powerful telescope, which now estimates some 70 sextillion stars in the visible universe, the Bible was scorned by some that thought that only a few thousand stars existed which they could see and count. Atheists still deny the knowledge of God, and pantheists still exist who worship the created world, and astrologers still practice their foolishness despite all the evidence for the Creator God. The universe is expanding out. The earth is suspended on nothing. The earth has a circular orbit. Job chapter 26 verse 7. He, God, stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. Isaiah 45 verse 12. I have made the earth and created man on it. I, my hand, stretched out the heavens, and all their host I have commanded. Isaiah 40 verse 22. It is He, God, who sits above the circuit or orbit of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshopper, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. The Greek astronomer and mathematician Aristarchus of Samos, influenced by Philolaus of Croton, is the first known to model the sun at the center of the known universe, with the earth and the other planets correctly positioned revolving around it. His model was rejected for the geocentric Aristotelian and Ptolemaic ideas. Nicholas Copernicus, a 16th century Christian Creationist Catholic cleric, mathematician and astronomer of Poland, correctly modeled a predictive mathematical model of a heliocentric system. Johannes Kepler, a creationist Christian German mathematician and astronomer, refined the heliocentric system by modeling the elliptical orbits of the planets. Galileo Galilei, a 17th century creationist Catholic Italian physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher, defended the heliocentric system as not contrary to the biblical scripture by using his telescope observations that provided empirical confirmation in opposition to the Roman Catholic Church that was deceived by the pseudoscientific Aristotelian geocentrism. Georges Henri Joseph Edouard Lamatière was a 20th century Belgian creationist Christian priest, astronomer, and professor of physics at the Catholic University of Louvain, who proposed a theory of an expanding universe with estimates of the expansion rate 2 years before Edwin Hubble, who erroneously has the credit for the Hubble constant and Hubble law. Psalm chapter 19 verses 4 to 6. He, God, has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoicing like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. It was only recently discovered that the sun is moving through space at about 600,000 miles per hour, in an orbit that would take an estimated 230 million years to complete. How lofty are the stars? The distant starlight problem. As the sun and the stars are in an orbit through space, planet Earth follows the sun's orbit as the Earth orbits the sun. Therefore, stars cannot appear as points of light for a fixed speed of light unless the stars are very near. If very distant stars are seen as points of light, then the speed of light in space must be instantaneous. Therefore, distant starlight cannot be used to determine the age of the universe. Stars cannot appear as points of light when they are millions and billions of light years away, and the distance of the star cannot be determined by using triangulation or brightness or by the redshift. Only God knows how lofty the stars are. How lofty are the stars? The distant starlight problem. As the sun, not shown in this illustration, moves through space at 600,000 miles per hour, the Earth follows the sun as it orbits the sun. For the purpose of this illustration and argument, the Earth is depicted moving at the same speed as the distant star shown above from left to right on all subsequent slides. Let's assume that the star's light begins to travel to planet Earth for the very first time with this slide. After 1 year, and each year for 10 years, the distant star shown above in white moves from left to right, with planet Earth shown below in dark blue. The old position of the star is shown in dark gray and light blue for the old position of planet Earth. The length of the arrow pointing towards planet Earth is the distance traveled at the fixed speed of light in 1 light year. The distance between the old and new position of the star and planet Earth is the same, and is the distance traveled in 1 year at 600,000 miles per hour. Let's assume the distant star is 10 light years away using the speed of light of 671 million miles per hour. The following slides show the movement and position of the Earth and the star and its light travel distance. Because the distant star and planet Earth are moving and not stationary, the starlight in transit from every position of the star fails to be seen from planet Earth. Job chapter 38 verses 31 to 33. Can you bind the cluster of the Pleiades or loose the belt of Orion? Can you bring out Mazzaroth, the constellations, in its season, Or can you guide the great bear with its cub? Do you know the ordinances of the heavens? Can you set their dominion over the earth? Some star systems were created to orbit in fixed gravitational relationship to each other, as with the stars God mentioned, which is contrary to the evolutionary cosmology based on random effects of gravity on materials that came from nothing and without an intelligent designer. It was atheists Washington Irving and a Frenchman, Antoine-Jean Latron, in 1787 to 1848, who jointly propagated the flat earth myth. The myth was further advanced by Andrew Dixon White in 1896, the founder of Cornell University, by creating a false rift between real science and theology by his book History of the Warfare of Science with Theology in Christendom. It wasn't until Jeffrey Burton Russell's book, Inventing the Flat Earth, Columbus and Modern Historian, New York, Prager, 1991, before the 180-year-old atheistic lie was exposed that the atheistic sort still use against Christian creationists. Whereas in the Bible, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 6, the wind blows to the south, turns to the north, round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. This is a description of the jet stream, which makes it clear that the earth must be globular and not flat, as the anti-biblical and anti-science sort often try to assert to the contrary about the Bible and medieval European Christian theory and science.